Hello, everybody, and welcome to a little bonus something from MinnMax, where a place about games, friends, and getting better. My name is Ben Hanson. I'm joined by Kyle Hilliard.
Hey, it's like a portable version of the MinnMax show, you know?
That's
like,
right. And I hope that you're all watching this YouTube video on your new Steam Deck, because that is what this emergency discussion is all about. Is we talked about it on the MinnMax Show podcast, I don't know, a couple months ago. When was that? When the rumblings were first starting about this thing called a Steam Pal. There was code showing up for this thing called a Steam Pal that seemed like it was Valve's answer to the Switch. And then today, Valve said, kablooey, and launched the Steam Deck into the universe for the announcement, at least.
First they watched Mitchell's versus the Machines on Netflix and saw that the evil corporation in that movie was called PAL. And they decided, wait, we got to swap PAL for Deck, so that everyone who tries to Google it buys an Elgato Stream Deck. That's the big...
Oh, of course. I hadn't even thought about that yet. Oh, my God.
That was the first thing that came up when I Googled it, because I was like, how do I pre-order this? Yeah. Google Steam Deck. And it was like, oh, you're looking for a Stream Deck from Elgato. I was like, nope, not what I'm looking for.
I'm not crazy about the name.
It's fine.
It's a weird thing. Nothing better than a deck on a house, just a good deck. But really one of the most boring words in the English language is deck.
Well, the verb is fun. You know,
oh, that's true. Somebody. That's true. And deck of cards, yeah. Maybe it's more fun than I thought.
But I'm with you. It's like the name is ho-hum. It's fine. It's not offensive in any way. It's just kind of forgettable to me. I don't know. But maybe it'll become a part of our lexicon pretty quickly if this thing gets popular, you know?
Yeah. So taking a step back, this is, I saw, was it Nebelian on Twitter that was joking that this is the Switch Pro, everybody. Like, basically, this is what you want. This is a super beefy handheld in a Switch-like format that is going to be running all of your Steam games. And it's really interesting. So IGN has a lot of info. They have an IGN First, which is cool to see an IGN First for a piece of hardware. But yeah, cool. In that, like, Valve stresses the idea of, like, just stop asking questions about what this can and can't do. Like, this is more so than it's a handheld with Steam OS on it. Just think of it as it's a small PC with a controller built into it. Like, everything you can do on a PC, you can do on Steam Deck. So it has Steam OS, looks like a very nice operating system, jump around, jump between games. You can put games on hold, like suspend them, kind of like you can on the Switch if you want to go jump and do something else. But the crazy thing is, like, you can just install anything you want on there. You know, they bring up the point that you could launch the Epic Game Store and play all your Epic games on this. You could launch third-party stuff. They even said that you could wipe the OS and just, like, install any operating system you want in this. It's just a tiny PC. You can plug in mouse and keyboard. You can plug in arcade sticks. You can plug in anything that would work with a PC into this Switch-like device, which is awesome. But I guess, you know, outside of that big picture stuff, Kyle, what was your gut reaction to actually seeing this thing?
I mean, gut reaction is excitement and genuinely trying to pre-order it and seeing what those options were, which I think is very telling. You know what I mean? Like, this is, I would be curious to listen to our discussion about the leak, and if I was pessimistic about it. I think I was pessimistic about Steam hardware, which I think is a fair pessimism based on their history. But this I'm like much more excited about than than the Steam controller or the Steam boxes. That's what they were called, I guess, right?
Yeah. Yep. I got one over there.
Yeah, I like PC games, but I don't. We talk about this all the time, Hanson. I don't like playing PC games at my desk. I just don't find it an enjoyable experience. This is perfect. This is exactly what I want. The opportunity to play those indie Steam games and stuff in bed, you know, and it looks great. It looks nice. It's not like you're kind of saying very little of it is proprietary. You know what I mean? It's all, you can do whatever you want with it. It's just a PC, you know?
Yeah. You think it looks nice? It's a little wonky, little clunky. Those analog sticks are pretty far up there because they have to have them above the two mouse trackpads that are also on this thing.
Yeah. The trackpads are odd. I don't know if I'll ever touch them.
IGN says it feels great for for mouse control, that actually it works surprisingly well, but we'll see. I think people were pretty glowing about the Steam controller first as well, about like, oh, you can kind of get some mouse control there.
But I mean, I do think it looks like a solid piece of hardware. I don't know. I think it looks kind of nice. I guess there is some pessimism out there about it, that it looks kind of just maybe, I don't know, is perfunctory the right word? Like, it's just like, this is a piece of hardware that will let you play PC games without too much style to it. But
yeah,
I'm okay
I wish
with
it had
that.
a little bit of style. Just consider how many great artists are employed at Valve, and based on my math, it's probably 312. And just no one has a real vision for this thing. But you know what? It's so functional. It is maybe the most functional handheld. So you really have to give it up. Because, I mean, honestly, if you want to be a little devil, like, I think the emulation stuff on this is going to be incredible if you want to just pop anything into this. So the basic specs here, because I know you're jonesing for some numbers, Kyle. 4 cores
Give them
of
to me.
AMD Zen 2 CPU with 8 threads, 8 CUs of RDNA 2 GPU, 16 gigabytes of RAM. Effectively, what you need to know, it's very helpful to frame it this way, is IGN said that they ran Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order on high, what's the word I'm looking for? Quality settings on this thing, and it ran great. So a game from just a couple years ago running on high, that seems like a good benchmark for what this thing is actually capable of. That's honestly more than I was expecting. That's a damn good looking game.
Same, yeah. I mean, I guess if you kind of tier PCs like a lower level laptop to like a rig that you built yourself, it seems like it's in the higher middle kind of that spectrum, right?
Maybe for a couple
Like
of years
closer
ago.
to the top than it is to the bottom.
Yeah, but it is impressive. So pricing for this, there are 3 different versions of it, starting out with 64 gigs of internal storage, which pretty small.
Not a lot.
Not a lot, but that's going to be $400. Then 500.
Half a Warzone, I think, was my joke I tweeted. That's like, isn't Warzone like 100 gigs or something?
Yeah. $530 for 256 gigs, $650 for 512 gigs. And that version also has anti-glare screen and a case and a bunch of other stuff. And also there's micro SD options as well, so you can get more storage on those versions as well. Battery life, Kyle, not a juggernaut. They say it's anywhere from 2 to 8 hours. IGN says that you can play Portal 2 for 4 hours on this thing. If you limit it to 30 frames per second, you're going to be playing for 5 to 6 hours. So even maybe more of a swing than the Switch has, like depending on what type of game that you're playing. But that seems okay.
Yeah, I think what is Switch? About 4 these days?
I mean, it varies so much, but yeah, somewhere
plug it
around
in
there.
and play it so much, you know?
Right. But the cool thing is they are going to be making a dock that's sold separately for the Steam Deck.
Yes.
But the cool thing is if you just have a USB-C cable, you can run this thing through up to an external monitor. So if you have the cable, you're good to go already, which is pretty cool. And you have obviously a monitor that can support that.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously you can plug it into a TV too, right? It's just HDMI,
right?
Like USB-C. Yeah, that's that whole non-proprietary thing. Like that's great, you know?
Yeah.
The dock is cool though. I do like the dock.
Yeah, a lot of funky stuff. Okay, other stuff. 4 back buttons that are hidden on there, which is impressive. They decided to include that. Touchscreen on it. Has a built-in microphone on it as well. Bluetooth supported, because again, it's just like a PC. So people were able to like hook up their Apple AirPods and all that funky stuff to this thing.
That's great.
It's, you know what? It got me more excited than I was expecting. I'm not a big handheld gaming guy in general, but I saw this, was like, I do kind of want one. I don't know how often I'd be using it, but maybe it is just that classic Hilliard laziness seeping in where it's like, playing PC games, maybe I would like to be laying down on the couch a couple more times.
Yeah, I mean, you're such a you love playing on your PC. You have your PC hooked up to your TV, right? So I am surprised to hear you show some excitement about it, you know. But I'm into it. Yeah.
I think it's just I'm excited to see Valve take some big swings. Obviously, people are always frustrated by the silence of Valve, but it's cool to see Gabe Newell and the team going for something here. And so even though, you know, it's been rocky with their hardware in the past, it's fun to see other big companies enter this handheld gaming space. I mean, I'm sure the Playdate folks are like, damn it, this is supposed to be our year. And now they're getting stomped by Steam Deck and Switch Pro rumors and everything. But it looks like they'll still get out in front of them because the Steam Deck is coming out holiday 2021, but they don't have exact dates on that sucker yet. And pre-orders are what? Going up soon? Do you know more about that, Kyle?
Yeah, it's weird. You can get a reminder, you know, you sign into your Steam account and say like email me when it's available.
Yeah.
And then, which is I guess a good way to do it. I'm kind of curious how it pans out, but it feels already a little better than like, you know, PS5 where it's kind of like, well, I'll just keep an eye on Wario and hope that I can get one when it goes live, or the Switch OLED, right, which is like up for pre-orders yesterday and today. But yeah, the idea is like you can get a reminder, and then they'll let you know that yours is available to purchase, and they'll send it to you. I guess it's a little confusing.
But there's something about like you have to put money down just to let them know that you're interested, just to make it more real for them trying to track these numbers.
Yeah, there's a reservation fee, which is the hurdle that I'm running into now. Is like I'd be happy to put down a reservation fee. Just to lock one in, but it's like I don't see where that option is. I don't know if their servers are getting hit really hard, or I'm getting like a loading screen. I don't know. It's hopefully things that'll be resolved in the next couple hours. But I would like to get one. Yeah, I don't know if I'll go top tier. I don't know if I'll get that huge hard drive one, but
I think that middle one might be the way to go. Although if you're just like playing a bunch of indie games on there, like how big is Hades really? 20 gigs, 30 gigs? I don't know.
It's weird. It's funny because like with Quest, I'm happy to have my smaller hard drive Quest, because Quest games are small, but also I kind of focus on one game at a time. But then I play like Switch, and I'm like, no, I need a lot of hard drive space. I gotta be able to jump between Mega Man X2 and Breath of the Wild at any given moment. It's very important to me.
It's crucial.
And, I feel like this will be more on that sort of side of things as opposed to the Quest, where I just have one game at a time.
Yeah, I'm just happy that finally we're getting some new hardware to finally use some of these chips that are just overflowing everywhere. Finally, they got some place to plug these suckers in.
I know. I mean, it's like we've been dipping them in salsa all this time because we've got so many.
Let's see. IGN has a quote from Gabe Newell. They say they're going to have more info from Papa Gabe himself, but he says, quote, "Nobody has ever said, oh, we have a giant success where clearly there's huge demand for this, but our margins are too thin, right? And a lot of people have overpriced things and killed the opportunity to sort of convince people that it's an uninteresting category from the get-go. So our view is we're doing this for the long haul, and there's a lot of opportunity. And so far, everything we're hearing from our partners, mainly because they're the ones that we've talked about it the most, is a lot of enthusiasm that this is something that they're going to really be happy to see the PC community pushing into this space." And he talked a lot about just how, the pricing has to be competitive, how they're really trying to make it as cheap as possible. And honestly, $400 is pretty good for the lowest version of this, especially considering that the Switch OLED is $350, and it's like, okay, no comparison between these two. One of these you can do everything, probably emulate everything on a Switch if you really want to be devilish, which we aren't condoning, but I'm sure a lot of people are going to be doing it.
Play a bunch of games that Nintendo hasn't released on Switch for some reason, like GameCube games or something. I don't know. This is all theoretical ideas. Yeah.
The Steam Deck, everybody, let us know what you think in the comments below. I don't know, Kyle, is this one of those things that we can put down as a MinnMax expense and get one for the studio here?
I don't know. It's fine with me. I kind of consider you the boss. You can make that call.
Oh, great. Okay, I'll
but you got to buy me that Akira jacket that I don't need. We need to expense that right away.
All right. Thanks so much for watching or listening, everybody. We appreciate it. If you want to learn more about what we're all about, you can go to patreon.com/MinnMax with 2 N's, or just subscribe to our YouTube channel and you'll get the general idea. There's a lot of fun stuff coming up. Kyle, thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
All right. We'll see you next time. Bye, everybody. If you are sick of snark, clickbait, and an avalanche of movie news, you can help support independent games media by subscribing to MinnMax's YouTube channel here, or checking out the benefits over on Patreon. It's a nice, clean handshake. You support us, and we won't make dumb, condescending stuff for you. Your support helps us continue our mission of focusing on games, friends, and getting better. Patreon.com/MinnMax with 2 N's. We'd appreciate it.